India is once again facing a massive examination controversy. In a shocking move, the National Testing Agency has cancelled NEET UG 2026, one of the country's biggest entrance exams, after allegations of a nationwide paper leak. More than 22 lakh medical aspirants are now left uncertain about their future, as investigators probe what officials are calling an organized exam mafia network spread across multiple states. Students are protesting on the streets, political pressure is mounting, and the credibility of India's competitive examination system is under serious scrutiny. We bring you a detailed report on how the alleged leak unfolded, why the exam was cancelled, and what happens next for millions of students across the country.
On the morning of May 3rd, over 2 million students walked into testing centers across India. For these candidates, the morning marked the conclusion of a 2-year marathon, one defined by isolation and relentless study. Before reaching their desks, they ran a gauntlet of security. Officials confiscated water bottles and removed jewelry. They cut the sleeves off shirts deemed too long, checked ears for micro Bluetooth devices, and swept metal detectors over every student. The students endured these measures in silence. They had spent years sacrificing their social lives and mental well-being for a single score. They complied because their entire career path depended on this 3-hour window. Later that day, the National Testing Agency celebrated a successful operation. They issued statements highlighting a suite of high-tech defenses: artificial intelligence, biometric verification, and 5G signal jammers designed to make the exam impenetrable. But the jammers were irrelevant. 2 weeks before a single student lined up for a frisking, the question paper had already been leaked. Within days, the agency would void the results for every student in the country. The agency treated 2 million teenagers as potential criminals on exam day, while leaving the actual supply chain for the test papers undefended. The vulnerability of the NEET exam lies in its distribution model. Despite the high-tech branding, the test relies on a physical pen and paper system. Digital security cannot protect a sensitive document that must be printed, packed, and physically transported thousands of miles. This map traces the collapse. The breach originated at a physical printing press in Nashik, Maharashtra. Someone on the inside bypassed protocol and extracted the paper 15 days before the scheduled exam. From Maharashtra, the document moved through a human chain. It traveled to a doctor in Haryana, reached brokers in Rajasthan, and spread to candidates in Kerala and Bihar. Once the physical paper reached these brokers, the leak scaled up. Pages were photocopied at local shops and scanned into encrypted messaging apps. The paper was digitized and multiplied, bouncing across group chats nationwide. Distributing a national exam requires moving thousands of boxes to 550 cities and 5,000 testing centers. This logistics chain relies on hundreds of thousands of drivers, clerks, and administrators handling the boxes weeks before the exam starts. The system mirrors a truck full of gold traveling a public route with no encryption. When highly valuable physical assets are moved this way, an interception is a statistical certainty. Biometric cameras on exam morning provide no protection if the answers were already sold for cash 2 weeks earlier. The agency possessed clear warnings that their system was broken. The 2024 NEET exam had already collapsed under leak allegations and a cluster of statistical anomalies in the final scores. The 2024 crisis triggered massive protests and led to a direct reprimand from the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice noted that the agency had the resources and time to prevent such failures, yet failed to do so. In response, the government formed a panel led by former ISRO chairman K. Radhakrishnan to audit the agency and propose a secure infrastructure. The committee recommended a hybrid digital model. Instead of shipping physical booklets, exams would be sent as encrypted files to be printed on site just hours before the test. By ignoring these fixes, the agency turned the 2026 leak into an institutional choice. They prioritized administrative inertia over the integrity of the examination. When the system fails, administrators form committees. But the 2.3 million students who sat for the test are the ones forced to pay for the agency's negligence. Academic preparation is an exercise in mental conditioning. Students build a psychological rhythm to peak on a specific date. When an exam is voided and rescheduled, that rhythm is shattered. Students return home to find their momentum gone. They are forced to restart their preparation from zero, wrestling with the doubt that they can replicate their maximum effort a second time. While the students panicked, leadership remained silent. When asked about the cancellation, the education minister avoided reporters and left without providing a single answer to the millions of affected families. These candidates followed every rule. They surrendered their privacy and their peace of mind to participate in a system they were told was secure. They are now the only ones suffering the consequences of a breach they didn't cause. Unless the system moves away from its vulnerable analog roots, the agency will continue to leak papers while breaking the results